So I saw Puss in Boots 2, Puss in Boots The Last Wish, and I was not expecting to have as much fun watching this movie as I did. I thought this was actually a fantastic film. I really enjoyed it a lot. Great example of, if you're getting into screenwriting, great examples of each beat. It definitely follows the beat by beat structure. It is the Save the Cat movie almost to a T, but it did it very well. And again, a lot of movies try to do that and fail at that. This movie tried it and succeeded, so I think it deserves plenty of credit. There was a lot of fun to be had in this movie. I mean, the Puss in Boots character is definitely a fun one, and what I like about it is they still make these characters have their flaws. They still don't make these characters be perfect characters. And by they, I mean, like, DreamWorks. I haven't seen every DreamWorks movie, but, I feel like as a whole, they're willing to let their characters kind of be actual characters and feel like human, even if they're not, than some of these other kids' movies that feel like, well, it's a kids' movie. We can't have our main protagonist have any negatives. No, this movie does that and is okay with doing it. It was actually just a really fun adventure movie, I thought, and this is definitely an odd comparison. I don't know how many people made this comparison, but it reminded me plot-wise a lot of Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker. It felt very similar, and just the plot was very much similar. They go to this mystical world because they want to find something that grants them a wish, which is, kind of a very similar thing there. I have no idea if that's intentional or not, if that was taken or whatever. I'm assuming the target demo for those two movies are very different enough that it's not going to bother anybody. Something I just I put together. It's interesting looking at the people who made this movie because they don't have a ton of credits. Like, Paul Fisher was the writer of this movie, and he was the only writer. There was no other writing credit. Usually these studio movies have like 7 writing credits. He was the only one. Hasn't done a lot. I mean, most of the people that have credits and like major credits, like, it seems like the main thing they've done is The Croods: A New Age, a movie I did not watch. It has 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I guess there you go. That was also written by Paul Fisher, but nothing really much. He only has a few credits. The directors don't only have a couple credits, also involved in The Croods, so maybe that's a movie to check out. I don't know, but again, this movie just it worked. What it was going for absolutely worked. It actually had one of the more interesting villains I've seen in a movie in quite some time, where it was this wolf guy who was super unique and creepy and very cool and fun. So I thought that he was very interesting in the way that they made it work. The music they had when he entered frame, and they had some little techniques, like the hairs on Puss in Boots's body would stand up, and that kind of let you know, okay, he's nearby, and it kind of added to like the creepiness. And really, I mean, some of these moments of suspense really worked, which I was not expecting for a movie like Puss in Boots. It really worked quite well, actually. So that was something that I thought was really fun. One of the more interesting things I thought from this movie as well was, and I don't think I have to go into spoilers in this video. Usually I'm going to try to get into spoilers at the end. I don't think I have to there. But, one of the things that I definitely found very fascinating about the way that this movie was made was the way that it was shot. I mean, there were some things that, like, I'm sure if you were into animation, you know how to do, but this confuses me because I don't know how you do this. My basic understanding of animation is fiddling around on Blender. I spent like a week doing that, so I've kind of understand. The main thing I learned is that, oh wow, this stuff takes a really long time to do. That's kind of the main thing I learned from my quick hobby, short-lived hobby of being an animator of, but some things to do with, like, just being able to, like, re-rack focus of, like, if it was focused on me and then focused on, like, the background, like, being able to do that in animation. I'm sure there's a way you do it. I don't know how you do that. That was, little things like that always fascinate me. I'm sure someone who is into animation can tell you how that works, but that was very interesting. But also even, differently, just some of these action scenes just really worked, and the way that they worked was unique, where they almost shot it like it's an anime type thing, but it definitely still felt like the, DreamWorks kind of feel to it as well. You felt real weight to it, and they would, have these things where I'm assuming they just animated it and then cut out some frames, because it looked like how when you would see sort of a movie, cut out certain frames and like kind of speed up the editing that way. I've never seen that done in animation though, so that was very fascinating. And again, I'm not someone who's watched a ton of animation. I watched some, but it was just an interesting way to do it. The action scenes mostly worked. there was some action scenes that I was like, okay, they need an action scene here. They need something to entertain the kids, which you get it. And then definitely, there were some jokes in there too that were like, okay, that's a kid's joke. I get it, right? Sure, that definitely happened. But what it does well is, I mean, again, it's the simple stuff. It understands what to do. It understands, okay, we need you to feel this way at this spot, and does a good job at getting you to feel that way at that specific spot. I do have some like nitpicks about the certain character decisions and stuff like that, but it's not that movie, right? It's okay. You go in and you don't expect that kind of thing to happen, so you're not saying like, oh, why did this out? Like, I'm not even going to give any examples, but that's kind of what it worked. And I don't know, just kind of the feel of the movie was just fun for me. It was just fun to kind of be in that world, like So there's a character where it's Goldilocks and the three bears, who I guess are friends now. I haven't read the end of Goldilocks. I don't remember if that's how it worked, but it's in the Shrek universe, right? So there's all these people from fairy tales, like there's Jack Horner, who I guess is from, I don't know, a nursery rhyme or something. I've never heard of it, but that's a character. But the Goldilocks and the three bears were they were also in this, and just kind of the way that Goldilocks' like body would like move around, of like going from like one bear to the other kind of thing, would like do like these cartwheels and stuff. It's like, okay, that's obviously not realistic, but like it still had like a weight to it that I felt like could happen in this world. It still made sense to me of like, okay, I get how they operate. So all of that stuff was a lot of fun. I thought every single really story decision they made totally worked for me. And I even found like the Perro character, which is a dog who pretended to be a cat. That's how he met Puss in Boots. That character like had a lot of heart to it and was just really unique. Again, character you don't see in a lot of movies, of like almost this sort of pitiful little guy who's has a heart of gold but a brain of mush, really. And it was still a bit fun to see kind of them interact with that character. So yeah, a lot of fun. You don't have to see the first Puss in Boots to see the second one. There's a little bit of similarities with there's one character that you would be a little bit confused about how they know Puss in Boots, but other than that, you could definitely watch it. And again, if you like action movies, I feel like this was a pretty good action movie and does it a lot better than a lot of these big budget like superhero movies do, in my opinion. I had a good time with it. So yeah, I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did not expect to, when I went in and saw I saw Glass Onion, Puss in Boots, and The Menu all in like a 3-day stretch. Did not expect Puss in Boots 2 to be my favorite movie out of that stretch, but it really was. I really had a great time with it. So yeah, that's my thought. Have you seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? What were your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.